Now we come to the single most important thing you need to get right when doing your application. And if you don't, it will ruin everything. Oh yes, I'm speaking to you about choosing your degree. If you don't pick a subject you really want to do, it will have a negative impact on all the other aspects of the application process because you don't really want to do it. Now, to illustrate to you how confusing it is to actually try and pick a degree, I thought I'd share with you how I eventually chose my degree. So I began thinking about my degree about halfway through year 12, so I had about 6 months to make a decision. And at the time, I was planning on applying for English. But then I realised the reason that I liked English wasn't so much because of the linguistic devices or the vivid imagery, it was more the message of the books. The political and the social and what have you message that the authors were trying to convey. So hey, I thought let's do history. I could study how things came to be and analyse the social impacts events had on the world. But that didn't work out either. Straight history was missing something for me, and that something was some sort of mathematical, sciencey aspect. I then discovered history and economics existed in the UK, so I got all excited over that. And then my history teacher turned to me and he said, "Hey Jamie, why don't you look into PPE?" So after thinking I have no idea what he's talking about, I then googled PPE and discovered it was the most fantastic, interesting degree I have ever come across. We had a winner. At that moment in time, I had no idea that Oxford was the place to go for this degree. So when I found out, I was slightly disheartened that the degree I really wanted to do was at a renownedly hard place to get into. But then I thought the worst case scenario would be Oxford saying no. But they could always say yes. And that was enough for me to then pursue applying for this degree. So the message of the story is to find out what you love to study and choose to study it. Don't be put off by discovering that it's an Oxbridge course. People always regret the things that they don't do, not the things that they do, so don't let not applying be one of your regrets. Yes, I said do. Now I know what you're thinking, I've told you all this wondrous stuff, but I haven't told you where to go to find all the information for all this wondrous stuff. Now there are actually tons of places you can go look to find all this information, but I've narrowed it down to a few, and I think these are the main important places that you should go to find the information. Now the first place that you should look is actually the Oxford Prospectus, which actually has a list of all of the courses on offer, and this is what it looks like. This is the one from last year, so it might look a bit different now. Inside of it, it has all of the information on all of the courses on offer, and the prospectus is also online, so if you can't get a physical copy, just head to the Oxford website. Now when you found a course that you like the look of, I also suggest going to the department website for that course, because there's usually extra information there and also gives you some more details about what you should be aiming for when you're applying for the course. In addition to that, you can also try the Oxford University Alternative Prospectus, which I actually really liked when I was applying. Now the Alternative Prospectus is also online if you can't get hold of a physical copy, and inside of it is actually reviews of all the courses from student perspectives, so that will probably give you a better insight to double check to see if the course is actually for you. You can also try the student room, which has information on the variety of courses on offer at Oxford, and also there's usually a discussion going, so you can ask some questions and get some feedback about the course directly from students. Finally, you could visit an open day and actually speak to the tutors and the students in person about the course. When looking in all these places, there are some key things that you should make sure you pay attention to. The main thing is what's actually in the course. Every university teaches English, physics, history, etc. differently. Some are more flexible with the modules you can pick, some are more stiff. So make sure that you pick the one that suits you and actually engages with your interests. You should also be paying attention to the average offer, such as AAA or A star, A, to see what you should be aiming for when applying for that course. Another thing you should look at is to see whether the course stipulates you've done certain A-levels or suggests that you've done certain A-levels. I've heard of some schools wrongly advising pupils to do certain A-levels when it won't actually help them with the course that they want to apply for. For instance, I've heard of a pupil who wanted to be a doctor, but they advised him to do photography and media studies, which won't actually help him with his application. Even if he got A stars, it wouldn't really be helpful, and it makes sense. Imagine if you went into a GP surgery and instead of them helping you with your infection or whatever ailment you have at the time, they take pretty pictures of you. You'd be like, "Hey, what are you doing? Why are you taking pretty pictures of me? Cure me!" So yeah, make sure you're doing the right A-levels for the course that you're applying for. I'm pointing to my trousers, which is a YouTube gesture to mean that all the information I've mentioned in the video for all the links and websites will be down the information part of the YouTube video for you to click to your heart's content. Now there are some myths surrounding how you should pick a degree, and I'd just like to take some time to dispel all those myths now. Some people want to go to Oxford for the sake of going to Oxford, which is fair enough. Because of this, they choose their degrees tactically, i.e. they choose niche subjects that have a low student-to-place ratio as to increase their chances of getting into the university. The one gripe I have with this is by picking a degree in this way, you won't necessarily like what you are studying. If you pick a science degree, for example, because you think it's easier to get on the course, despite the fact you might be a born lawyer, what the hell are you doing? You have to think and ask yourself, which subject will you want to go to lectures on, which subject will you want to write essays for, which subject will you want to do problem sheets for, which subject will you want to commit 3 to 4 years of your life to, and if you're doing medicine, a lot longer. Ultimately, it comes down to what you love. What do you have a passion for? The tutors are looking for people who not only have potential but really do care and love the subject that they are learning about and will want to continue learning about that subject for the duration of their degree. So that's the first video on choosing your degree. The next video will be on the application process in general and how to choose a college. If you have any questions, please do post them in the comments so I can make a Q&A video to reply to all of those. Remember to subscribe to get each new video sent to you through the interwebs, and until next time, goodbye. And this looks a bit like this. This is the